By the way, I'm Coach Les Oculam, professional fitness instructor. And this is my first vlog. I will discuss about skeletal system. There are 206 bones of human body in adult. The skeletal bones is divided into the axial bones and appendicular bones. The axial bones found in the head and torso, the skull, vertebral column, and thoracic cage. And then the appendicular bones found in the limbs, the shoulder, pelvis, arms, and legs. Now, let's start on the axial bones and the skull. The skull made up of 22 different bones. There are 8 cranial bones. The cranial bones are the ones protect to the brain. 1 frontal bone, 1 occipital bone, 1 ethmoid bone, 1 sphenoid bone, and 2 parietal bones, 2 temporal bones. And there are 14 facial bones. Facial bones give structure to the face. 1 mandible, 1 vomer, 2 nasal bones, and 2 maxillary bones, and 2 zygomatic bones, and 2 palatal bones, 2 lacrimal bones, and 2 inferior nasal cancae. Next is the vertebral column, also called spinal column, or simply called by spine. This is comprised of 26 irregular bones, and the spine is support everything from the skull to the pelvis. The spine is divided into the 5 sections. On the top, we have cervical vertebrae, which are the first 7, and the next 1 to 12 is called thoracic vertebrae, and the remaining 5 is called lumbar vertebrae. Below the lumbar vertebrae, we can find the sacrum, which is actually 5 vertebrae fused together. And then lastly below the sacrum, there is the coccyx, also known as a tailbone, which is made up of few tiny vertebrae fused together. The last part of the actual skeleton is the thoracic cage. This is essentially comprised of the sternum, and the ribs, as well as costal cartilage. The sternum is the flat bone. This made up of 3 smaller bones fused together. In the top, here, called monobrium. And the body, and xiphoid process. Then there are 12 pairs of the ribs. The first 7 ribs are attached directly to the sternum via costal cartilage. This is called true ribs. Then there are 5 of false ribs, 3 of which attach to the sternum and directly to the sternum via costal cartilage. To cartilage from ribs and above, and the last 2 are called floating ribs because they don't touch in the sternum at all. Ribs are flat bone. This get longer from the pairs 1 to 7, and then shorter again going 8 to 12 pairs. And now, well done the axial bones. We're done here. And let's proceed the appendicular skeleton bone, found in the shoulder, pelvis, legs, and arms. Now, let's start to the shoulder. Pectoral girdle. This is comprised of clavicle or collarbone. And this scapula or shoulder blade is give structure to the shoulder. The clavicle has sternal ends which attach to the manubrium, and acromal ends, which joint of the scapula. The scapula is a thin, flat bone, roughly triangular, and there are 3 borders: superior, medial, and lateral or axillary. And now, let's move on the upper limbs. This consists of arms or humerus. And the forearm, there are 2 bones, the radius and ulna. And now, let's proceed to the hand. With many separate bones, the carpals or rest is made of 8 short bones called carpals. These are scaphoid, two lunate, two triquetrum, two pisiform, number 5 trichium, and number 6 trapezoid, and capitate and hamate. Next, let's proceed to the metacarpals, which make up the form of the hand. There are simply named 1 to 5 from the thumb to thinking. This is connect to phalanges, which are the bones make the fingers, and there are 14 bones in hands. 3 for fingers, which are the distal, the middle, and proximal phalanges, except of the thumb, which has 2 no middle phalanges. Moving back to the appendicular bones and the pelvis. The pelvis clearly attached to the lower limbs, to the axial skeleton, just like the pectoral girdle for the upper limbs. Although this is one has less mobility and far more stability than the other. This girdle start at the sacrum and continue to the hip bone. These are made of separate bones which fuse one to become one to adulthood. And this the region of the hip bones being ilium, ischium, and fibers. Lastly, the lower leg contains very thick bone allowing to the run and jump effectively. The thigh is made up of a single bone, just like the arms, and this one called the femur, which is the largest bone in the body. And let's move to the legs. Just like the forearm, it contains 2 bones, the tibia and fibula, which is the larger bone than the tibia. Lastly, let's proceed to the foot, which similar to the hand. The tarsals made of 7 bones called tarsals. The biggest bone is talus and calcaneus make up the ankle. The rest, the cuboid, the vicular, and the medial, intermediate, lateral, cuneiform bones. Next, metatarsals with 5 long metatarsals, again 1 to 5, also like the hands. We can see 5 phalanges, and now we're done the skeletal system. Okay, by the way, this is Coach Lens Oculam. Wishing you like my first video or my first plan. Please don't forget to click subscribe my channel. Also click the like. Thank you so much.
Salamat.